Welcome back to the Deep Dive, the place where we take massive stacks of information articles, research your own specific notes, and boil them down so you, the learner, walk away instantly well-informed.
And today, we are taking on a truly monumental task.
We really are. We're trying to synthesize the entire career of a player whose volume of achievement, whose cultural resonance is, well, it's totally unique.
We're diving deep into the phenomenon known globally as CR7.
Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro.
It's just an essential deep dive, because his career narrative, it's not just about being one of the greatest players in history, though he certainly is.
Right.
It's a living blueprint for ambition, for physical adaptation, and, for commercial genius.
So our mission today is to move beyond those famous highlight reels and give you a fast but really thorough understanding of his complete legacy.
Exactly. We'll look at the foundational elements that created that drive, the meticulous career evolution he undertook, and the profound cultural revolutions he inspired.
And I think we have to establish the sheer scale of it right out of the gate.
You have to.
Because the numbers he has posted throughout his career are simply staggering. They immediately set the stage for his global historical relevance.
Indeed. And these aren't just statistics. They are markers of a kind of statistical singularity that he achieved through longevity and just sheer focus.
Okay, so let's start with appearances.
We are talking about a professional who has accumulated over 1,300 professional appearances for club and country.
Over 1,300.
Just think about what that requires.
Yeah.
That means he is the most capped outfield player in the history of the sport.
And that's at the absolute elite level spread across more than 2 decades. That speaks volumes not just about talent, but about a fanatical dedication to durability, to recovery, and to managing that relentless physical and psychological workload.
And of course, the goals.
The goals.
A number that defines him above all others is his scoring record. He scored over 950 official senior career goals for club and country.
Which makes him definitively the top goal scorer of all time.
That's the thesis of his career, really. Continuous output at an unprecedented rate, year after year after year.
And the individual hardware, the trophies, they just confirm this sustained, intense dominance.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you look at the top individual accolades, they place him firmly in the pantheon of football gods.
He's a 5-time winner of the Ballon d'Or.
The award recognizing the best player in the world. But his collection, it goes deeper than that. He also holds a record for European golden shoes.
Which signifies he's the top domestic league scorer across the entire continent.
And winning that 4 times. It just speaks to his ability to find the back of the net consistently, regardless of the team, regardless of the system. Plus, he's won the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award 3 times.
I think the most anomalous record, though, the one that truly sets him apart from others who might have similar goal counts, is the continuity across different teams.
Yes.
I mean, most players are lucky to score 100 goals for one iconic club.
But
What does it mean that he has scored 100 goals with 4 different professional clubs?
it means total adaptability. It means he didn't just succeed in one system, under one manager, or in one league.
No.
He completely re-engineered his approach multiple times to dominate distinct football cultures. England, Spain, Italy, and now Saudi Arabia. He's not geographically bound by his success.
And that universality extends right to the international stage, which is often, harder to maintain given the scheduling and the pressure.
Absolutely. He has the records for the most international appearances at 226 caps.
226.
And the most international goals scored with
Yeah.
143. To put that into perspective, he is the most prolific international male player the game has ever seen, period.
So when we talk about the scope of his career, we're describing a player who has set the benchmark for both club consistency and country dedication.
That's the foundation.
Okay, let's unpack this. To achieve this level of sustained, relentless dominance, you have to look beyond the trophies, beyond the global fame.
You have to.
We have to ask, where did this foundational drive and resilience come from? And we have to start by examining his surprisingly challenging origins in Madeira.
Understanding his early life is essential because it just explains the incredible hunger we see in his professional career. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born in Funchal, on the Portuguese island of Madeira in 1985.
Right.
He grew up in a place called Santo Antonio, living in an impoverished, deeply Catholic household.
And the sources detail a family dynamic that's really characterized by profound struggle, particularly with his parents.
That's right. His mother, Maria Dolores, worked multiple jobs as a cook and a cleaning woman just to support the family. His father, Jose Diniz, was a municipal gardener, and took on side jobs.
Including as a part-time kit man for a local club.
Exactly, for a small club called Andorinha, which is where Cristiano first started playing.
Yeah.
But crucially, his father struggled throughout his life with severe alcoholism.
A tragedy often linked to trauma he suffered while serving in the Portuguese colonial war. That paints such a powerful picture of hardship poverty compounded by these internal family struggles. And it's a very raw detail that the sources reveal his very existence was contested because of their financial instability.
That is perhaps the most shocking detail from his early life.
Hmm.
His mother openly admitted that she had wanted to abort him due to the severe poverty and her husband's deepening alcoholism.
But the doctor refused the procedure.
He did. And that knowledge must have stayed with him, consciously or unconsciously. It immediately tells you he overcame incredible odds just to be here.
So, given that intense environment, how did he commit so fully to football? What was that moment he decided to just abandon his formal education?
Well, by age 14, he had already displayed a temperament that really clashed with the structured environment of schooling. He was a difficult student, but he was also, deeply convinced of his own footballing talent.
So he made a radical choice.
He did. Backed by his mother and his tutor at Sporting CP, he decided to cease his education entirely to focus solely on the game. He believed, even as a teenager, that he already had the potential to play semi-professionally.
And that fiery temperament you mentioned, it manifested physically in the classroom, didn't it?
It did. The sources note that before he officially dropped out, he was actually expelled for throwing a chair at a teacher.
And the reason he gave.
He felt the teacher had disrespected him. That detail is so important because it foreshadows the highly confrontational, intensely competitive, and sort of non-submissive persona that would later define his on-pitch rivalries and his public image.
But this entire journey, this whole story, almost came to a complete and permanent start just before his career truly took off.
Because of a severe, unexpected health concern.
Yes, at the age of 15, he was hit with a career-threatening diagnosis.
Tachycardia, a condition where the heart beats abnormally fast, which could have led to immediate retirement from professional sport due to the strain.
For a young athlete who had just sacrificed his education, that must have been devastating.
Absolutely.
So what was the medical intervention, and what does the speed of his recovery tell us about his dedication?
He underwent heart surgery. It was a procedure where a laser was used to cauterize multiple cardiac pathways. Essentially, they fixed the electrical short circuit in his heart.
Okay.
But the astonishing part of this story, the moment that truly establishes his lifelong resilience, is that he was discharged from the hospital mere hours after the procedure.
Hours.
And resumed training within days. It's an almost inhuman display of dedication. He did not waste a single moment.
That resilience carried him straight into the professional path, starting with Sporting CP.
He had joined their youth system at age 12 for a pretty modest fee of £1,500. He moved quickly through the academy, and by 2002, the main team manager, Laszlo Belloni, promoted him.
So he played his first official match at just 17, a dizzying ascent.
From the streets of Madeira to the top club in Lisbon.
And the single most crucial turning point, the moment he stepped onto the world stage, happened because of a friendly game between Sporting and Manchester United.
It was August 2003 for the inauguration of Sporting's new stadium. Sporting defeated United 3-1, but it was Ronaldo's performance that day that just captivated everyone.
He was described as unplayable.
He was.
Yeah.
And the story goes that after the match, United senior players, people like Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand, were so impressed they immediately cornered their manager, Alex Ferguson.
And told him to sign the kid right away.
Exactly. And Ferguson didn't need much convincing. He reportedly called him one of the most exciting young players he had ever seen. That personal conviction from Ferguson was the catalyst for the rest of his entire career.
It wasn't just a scouting report, it was a personal mandate.
Driven by the immediate electric impact Ronaldo had on that pitch that day, it set him up for the next great chapter of his evolution. And what's fascinating here is how that next stage of his career, beginning with the Manchester United move, represents this deliberate, meticulously planned path to global dominance.
Right. This isn't just about talent anymore. It's about making pivotal, strategic career moves.
Let's start with that move to Manchester United in 2003. It wasn't just a big move for a teenager. It was a record investment for the time.
An England record for a teenager. Right. £12 million.
It was. And he arrived intending to take the number 28, his comfort number, from Sporting. But Alex Ferguson intervened.
He insisted he take the iconic number 7 shirt.
the one that had been, sanctified by club legends like George Best, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham.
Giving an 18-year-old that weight of history seems like an enormous gamble, but it clearly paid off psychologically.
It did. Ronaldo later confirmed that receiving the number 7 shirt was an extra source of motivation. It forced him to internalize the highest possible standards from day one. He didn't just want to be good. He had to be worthy of that lineage.
And his debut, as a substitute against Bolton, certainly grabbed attention, but it also started that big debate about his style.
His debut was electrifying. George Best, a man who knew a thing or two about flair, called it undoubtedly the most exciting debut he had ever seen.
High praise.
But this is also where the scrutiny began. The British press, which is known for valuing efficiency over showmanship, often criticized his elaborate stepovers and flair.
He was accused of being a show pony, essentially.
Exactly. But this criticism forced the first major evolution in his game. His teammates defended him fiercely. Gary Neville insisted Ronaldo was not a show pony, but the real thing.
He predicted he would become world-class.
He did. And over those first few years, Ronaldo took that criticism and he channeled it, transitioning from a dazzling, slightly inefficient winger into a reliable, devastating goal threat.
And that transition really culminates in his peak United years between 2007 and 2009.
This is where he leaves talented youngster territory and becomes a full-blown global superstar.
The 2007-08 season was his breakthrough year for individual dominance.
He shattered the 20-goal barrier, finishing with 31 league goals to win the Premier League Golden Boot. More significantly, he also won the European Golden Shoe,
which was a monumental achievement because he was the first true winger in the award's history to claim it.
He completely redefined the expectations of what a wide player could achieve numerically.
And that individual brilliance directly translated into collective success. He spearheaded United's run to the 2008 Champions League title,
winning his first Ballon d'Or at age 23 and becoming the first Premier League player ever named FIFA World Player of the Year.
Before he left Manchester, though, we have to acknowledge the goal that truly cemented his transformation from a flair player to a powerful force.
The 40-yard strike against Porto in 2009.
That goal won the inaugural FIFA Puskás Award for the best goal of the year, didn't it?
It did. And it wasn't a piece of intricate dribbling. It was a rocket launched from distance. The sheer power and audacity of that shot symbolized his new focus on scoring efficiency.
He later confirmed he considers that specific goal the best he had ever scored.
Which tells you everything. And that was immediately followed by the next seismic shift, the move to Real Madrid,
which set a new world record.
In 2009, he moved to the Spanish capital for a staggering $94 million or $80 million. It was a world record at the time. And the club, they understood the monumental nature of the signing. They treated his presentation like a global event.
The public reception was more like a rock star concert than a transfer unveiling.
Exactly. An estimated 80,000 fans attended his presentation at the Santiago Bernabéu.
80,000.
That number was so massive that it surpassed the 25-year record set by Diego Maradona's unveiling at Napoli. It just underscored the magnitude of expectation, the belief that he was the key to Real Madrid's next great era.
He certainly embraced it, calling the move the completion of my boyhood dream. And his goal-scoring output immediately validated every single penny of that record price tag.
It was a true avalanche of goals. He scored 33 goals across all competitions in his debut season, even while wearing the number 9.
Right before he got the 7 back.
Once he reclaimed that iconic number 7 jersey in 2010 after Raul departed, his scoring just exploded. For instance, he scored 46 league goals during the 2011-12 season, leading Madrid to a league title with a then-record 100 points.
He became the first player in La Liga history to score 40 goals in a single season.
Just unbelievable numbers.
And this decade defined that great rivalry with Lionel Messi, but for Real Madrid, it was capped off by a historic period of team dominance, what they called the La Decima era.
Ah, the La Decima era. It was named after the club's 10th European Cup, and it encompassed that incredible run between 2014 and 2018, where Real Madrid won 4 Champions League titles in just 5 years.
And Ronaldo was the relentless spearhead of that dominance.
He set specific Champions League records during that time that may never be broken.
He absolutely cleaned up the Champions League record books.
In the 2013-14 season alone, he scored an unprecedented 17 Champions League goals. He also became the first player in history to score in 2 European Cup finals for 2 different winning teams.
For Manchester United and for Real Madrid.
That's right. And by September 2015, he had cemented his individual legacy at the club, by becoming Madrid's all-time top goal scorer, surpassing the great Raul.
But if we're looking for one single visual moment from that peak Madrid era that encapsulates his physical and technical genius, it has to be the bicycle kick.
The mythological bicycle kick, the one against Juventus in the 2018 Champions League quarterfinals.
It was an acrobatic, technically flawless strike that earned him something unique.
A standing ovation from the opposing Juventus fans inside their own stadium, something almost unheard of in European football.
Juventus defender Andrea Barzagli, who was on the field, famously described it simply as a PlayStation goal.
Meaning it defied reality. And the technical details are stunning too. The sources note his foot was approximately 7 feet 7 inches off the ground when he made contact.
That just speaks to his almost superhuman elevation and core strength. And that Champions League victory in 2018, his 5th title overall, was also his final game for Real Madrid.
Which was so surprising, that abrupt departure immediately after winning the ultimate prize.
What was the underlying reason for seeking a new environment so soon after such dominance?
Well, while the initial statements pointed toward a need for a new challenge in a different league, he later provided a much more human explanation.
He attributed the departure to a feeling of insufficient support.
And a lack of loyalty from the club president, Florentino Perez. Despite his record-breaking tenure, he felt undervalued and sought an environment where he felt more centrally appreciated.
This need for respect and loyalty, it seems to be a recurring theme, stretching all the way back to his youth in Madeira. And here's where it gets really interesting. His next career phase proves that his dominance was not bound by age or by league history.
No.
He successfully league-hopped in an unprecedented fashion, testing his portability and simultaneously cementing his international glory with Portugal.
Moving to Juventus in 2018 was a huge statement about his self-belief and his market value. The initial fee of $100 million was the highest ever paid for a player over 30 years old.
It was an extraordinary bet on longevity.
And he repaid it by immediately conquering Italian football. He helped Juventus win back-to-back Serie A titles in the 2018-19 and 2019-20 seasons.
But the truly historic achievement here is the universality of his domestic triumphs.
This is the defining record of his adaptability. With those Juventus titles, he officially became the first player in history to win league titles in England,
The Premier League.
Spain with La Liga,
And Italy with Serie A.
the 3 traditional powerhouse leagues of Europe. That achievement alone established his resume as universally dominant across totally different tactical approaches.
And he made sure to secure crucial individual records there, too, proving he was still the most prolific scorer even at a more advanced age.
Oh, absolutely. He became the fastest Juventus player to reach 100 goals, achieving the milestone in only 131 appearances.
And in his final season in Turin, 2020-21, he won the Capocannoniere,
The Serie A Top Scorer Award. This meant he became the first footballer to finish as top scorer in the English, Spanish, and Italian leagues.
He wasn't done collecting trophies in Italy either.
No. By winning the Coppa Italia in 2021, he achieved the remarkable feat of becoming the first player to win every major domestic trophy, the league title, the main cup, and the Super Cup in all 3 of those major European nations.
England, Spain, and Italy, that is just systematic conquest.
It is.
Following that successful 3-year period in Italy, he engineered a brief, highly emotional return to the club where he started his superstardom, Manchester United.
He returned to Old Trafford in 2021, reclaiming that iconic number 7 shirt after Edinson Cavani switched to number 21. And the immediate commercial response was just electric.
His shirt sales broke the all-time record within 24 hours of the announcement,
overtaking even Lionel Messi's recent move to PSG in terms of initial merchandise value.
The fairy tale reunion, however, was short-lived and turbulent on the field.
Yeah, the 2021-22 season ended trophyless for United. It was the first time Ronaldo had gone without a club trophy since 2010.
A long time.
By the following season, the relationship with the club and the new manager, Erik ten Hag, had completely fractured. This culminated in that highly publicized and explosive interview,
where he stated he felt betrayed by the club,
which immediately led to his contract being mutually terminated on November 22nd.
That contentious exit set the stage for the most revolutionary move of his entire career, one that fundamentally altered the global football landscape.
The Saudi Revolution. In December 2022, he joined the Saudi Pro League club Al Nassr. He signed a contract extending to 2025.
which provided him with the highest football salary ever reported.
An estimated total of $200 million per year once you factor in all the commercial and sponsorship agreements.
And the sources cite his transfer as leading a literal revolution in Asian football.
Yeah.
What exactly was the impact beyond just the financial side?
It was a tipping point. His arrival immediately raised the global visibility and credibility of the Saudi Pro League. It created this ripple effect,
Attracting many other high-profile European players to transfer to Saudi clubs.
including several of his former teammates and rivals. He didn't just join a club. He pioneered a new economic frontier for the entire sport.
And despite moving out of the European spotlight, the goal records continued without pause.
Absolutely. He scored his 500th career league goal shortly after joining Al Nassr. He ended 2023 as the outright top scorer in world football, scoring 54 goals across all competitions for club and country.
Proving his scoring rate was still elite.
And then, in May 2024, he achieved that final historic record of becoming the first footballer to finish as top scorer in 4 different leagues.
English, Spanish, Italian, and Saudi. It's an irrefutable argument for universal scoring dominance.
It is.
We've established his club portability, but his international legacy with Portugal is equally vital to his status, particularly the major tournament success he brought to his nation.
His crowning international achievement was leading Portugal to their first ever major tournament title at Euro 2016.
Right. Though the final itself was a moment of drama, he was subbed off injured in the 25th minute.
But his leadership, his intensity, and his goals throughout that entire tournament were the driving force.
And his longevity in international football is truly unmatched, reflected in those record numbers. 226 caps and 143 goals.
And that endurance extends to the greatest stage of all, the World Cup. In 2022, he became the first player in history to score in 5 separate World Cups.
5.
He also holds the record as the oldest player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup match, which he accomplished against Spain in 2018. He delivered across every competition format,
Including leading Portugal to victory in the inaugural UEFA Nations League in 2019.
and securing a second Nations League title in 2025.
That brings us right up to the present, and the clock is now running down on this magnificent career.
Yes, in November 2025, he publicly confirmed that he plans to retire within the upcoming 2 years.
Setting his likely final major tournament as the 2026 World Cup.
But what defines this final phase isn't winding down, it's an active numerical goal. He is publicly chasing the incredible 1,000 career goal milestone before he hangs up his boots. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the consistency we've traced across 2 decades and across 3 fundamental changes in playing style, it requires a physical and mental approach that few athletes in history can match.
We need to look at how he adapted his body and how he shaped his own public image to maintain this elite level for so long.
The narrative of Cristiano Ronaldo is a masterclass in perpetual physical and tactical evolution. He didn't just roll on the speed he had at 18.
No, he fundamentally changed his playing style to match the effects of aging.
That is the core analytical takeaway. In his youth at Sporting and early Manchester United, he was a classic traditional winger.
Right.
He was defined by explosive acceleration, raw pace, flair, agility, and intricate technical skills. All the step-overs, the feints, the dribbling. He was an entertainer who generated opportunities.
Then came the deliberate transformation during his peak at Real Madrid.
At Madrid, he stopped hugging the touchline. He shifted into a highly offensive, fluid tactical role, operating primarily from the left flank, but making constant central runs into the penalty box.
Pundits coined the term goal-scoring winger for him.
Exactly. This is when he developed his exceptional striking ability, capable of devastating finishing from all distances, both inside and outside the box. He became less about creating space and more about maximizing the chances that space provided.
And as he entered his 30s, that physical adaptation became even more pronounced and, calculated.
He consciously began to conserve energy. He completed fewer dribbles, fewer passes. He transitioned into what is often described as a deadly poacher or a free-roaming center forward.
His focus narrowed almost entirely to intelligent positional sense.
Precise movement off the ball and converting chances from very few touches or opportunities inside the box. This adaptation guaranteed his goal scoring remained prolific long after most wingers would have lost their explosive speed and retired.
Beyond strategy, we have to highlight his raw physical dominance, the athleticism that allowed him to maintain his aerial threat and explosive power long into his 30s.
His commitment to strength training and elevation is legendary. He has exceptional athleticism, strength, and heading accuracy.
And the concrete proof of his physical peak is that record he holds for the highest recorded jump in football history.
2.93 meters, achieved during a Champions League match in 2013 against his former club, Manchester United. That is higher than the average vertical leap of many professional basketball players.
It's incredible. And then there's his signature free kick technique, the terrifying knuckleball.
He is a renowned set-piece specialist, having developed the knuckleball technique, which was popularized by players like Juninho Pernambucano. The ball maintains very little spin, making it dip and swerve unpredictably.
What's equally famous, however, is the theatrics.
Yes, his pre-strike stance, legs far apart, eyes intensely focused, is pure theater. Former Manchester United assistant Mike Phelan described him as the ultimate showman, suggesting the stance is a nonverbal proclamation to the world.
Oh, all eyes on me. This is going in.
He understood the power of the spectacle.
And speaking of spectacle, no deep dive into Ronaldo is complete without acknowledging the defining sports narrative of his generation, the unrelenting rivalry with Lionel Messi.
It has been the most compelling duality in modern global sport, spanning over 15 years. They both share similar statistics at the absolute peak.
Scoring in multiple Champions League finals, regularly breaking the 50-goal barrier in a single season.
And now ranking as the two leading goal scorers in history. It truly is comparable to the great individual duels in sports history, like Ali versus Frazier in boxing, or Borg versus McEnroe in tennis.
And the media narrative often relied on framing them as these contrasting personalities.
That comparison was constantly amplified. The media often juxtaposed Ronaldo's often perceived arrogant image and competitive fire with Messi's depiction as the shy, humble genius.
And that dynamic was heightened by their roles as the standard bearers for arch rivals, Barcelona and Real Madrid,
battling it out at least twice a season in El Clasico.
But Ronaldo himself seemed to recognize that the competition wasn't inherently toxic, it was mutually beneficial.
That's the psychological insight. He stated publicly that the rivalry was natural and that they pushed each other to reach greater heights, which he called a good thing.
It was competitive tension that drove them both to records few thought possible.
It was. However, as both players moved geographically away from Europe, that era officially concluded. In September 2023, Ronaldo explicitly declared that his rivalry with Messi was over and gone.
After 36 official fixtures and 15 years of shared domination.
The end of an era.
Now, let's shift gears to analyze the cultural machine built around the CR7 brand. This goes far beyond football performance and into pure, massive, global celebrity and commerce.
He is a commercial juggernaut. He's consistently ranked among the world's most marketable and famous athletes. Forbes ranked him the world's highest paid athlete on 5 separate occasions, including the most recent listings in 2023 and 2024.
And more remarkably, he is the first footballer and only the third sportsman globally to earn $1 billion in his career.
That's right. And his sheer online footprint is almost unimaginable.
He is arguably the most dominant figure on social media in the world.
The most popular sports person, boasting over 1 billion total followers across major platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. He was, in fact, the first person in history to achieve 500 million followers on a single platform.
And this reach is a crucial commercial asset. That social media dominance translates directly into staggering commercial value for his partners?
The value is enormous. For example, between 2016 and 2017, it was projected the sponsors earned a whopping $936 million in media value just from posts on his social accounts alone.
His channels are pure gold.
And he's not just endorsing, he's building an empire.
Can you walk us through some of the specific business ventures that make up the CR7 machine beyond the endorsement deals?
Absolutely. The core of his ventures is the CR7 fashion brand, which includes underwear, socks, shirts, and shoes. He's also launched fragrances, a social networking app called Viva Ronaldo, and has been involved in video games.
In reflecting his increasing business interests outside of sport, in 2023, he joined a group of investors to become new owners of Medialeave,
a major Portuguese publishing house. He is diversifying his influence and his wealth long before retirement.
And finally, tying the entire brand together is the celebration that is mimicked globally, the famous Sue.
It is his trademark. It involves that signature sequence, a storming jump and turn before landing in a signature power stance while exclaiming "Sí,"
which means yes.
He confirmed in 2023 that the phrase "Sue" means yes, but meaning it very strongly. He first performed it during a preseason friendly in 2013 and has since become perhaps the most iconic association football celebration of all time. instantly recognizable globally.
So, what does this all mean for his off-field impact? We need to look at the other side of his public life, from his extensive global charity work to the legal and political issues that have shadowed parts of his career.
The off-field story is one of significant contrasts. On the philanthropic side, his giving is extensive and often tied to deeply personal motivations.
For instance, he donated the damages he received from a libel case directly to a charity in Madeira.
He did. He also donated £100,000 to the hospital that played a critical role in saving his mother's life during her cancer treatment.
He also leveraged his profile to raise awareness during major global crises, which is a powerful use of his fame.
Correct. After the devastating 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, he visited ACE, Indonesia, to raise funds for rehabilitation efforts. This was prompted after footage circulated of a young survivor wearing a Portuguese shirt.
Right.
He has also served as Save the Children's Global Artist Ambassador, focusing on fighting child hunger and obesity, and as an ambassador for the Mangrove Care Forum in Bali.
The sources highlight one small, specific detail that speaks volumes about his quiet commitment to health-related philanthropy.
It's a very telling detail. He does not have any tattoos. The reason is that he regularly donates blood and bone marrow, a decision that requires him to maintain strict health protocols and avoid getting tattoos, which can temporarily disqualify donors.
That small personal choice highlights a deep commitment to giving back physically.
It does.
Moving to his place in Portugal's history and global pop culture, the honors and memorials are extraordinary and permanent fixtures now.
He has received the highest national recognition. In 2014, the President of Portugal raised him to the rank of Grand Officer of the Order of Prince Henry, specifically citing him as an athlete who has become a global symbol of Portuguese excellence.
His legacy is literally built into the landscape.
Particularly on his home island of Madeira. Yes. His youth club, CD Nacional, renamed its youth campus the Cristiano Ronaldo Campus Football back in 2007.
More visibly, his hometown of Funchal opened the Museu CR7 in 2013, dedicated entirely to his career.
And perhaps the most famous or infamous memorial occurred in 2016 when the Madeira airport was officially renamed Cristiano Ronaldo International Airport.
And we can't skip the famous footnote from that renaming ceremony, the public art controversy.
That's a moment of levity in an otherwise intense career narrative. The bronze bust unveiled at the airport renaming ceremony in 2017 was immediately and heavily ridiculed worldwide.
By comedians, by the public.
For its lack of accurate likeness. It was such a widely mocked piece of art that it required a replacement to be commissioned and installed in 2018. It's just to show that even a global phenomenon can't escape the public scrutiny, especially when it comes to their own depiction.
Now, we must address the legal and political aspects detailed in our sources, maintaining the strict impartiality required for a deep dive.
Right.
He has faced two major types of legal issues over the years: tax fraud and sexual assault allegations.
On the tax front, in 2017, Spanish authorities charged Ronaldo with fraudulently evading almost $15 million in tax on image rights income between 2011 and 2014.
He initially denied the claim, but in June 2018, he reached a formal deal with Spanish tax authorities. What was the outcome of that deal?
He agreed to accept a 2-year suspended jail sentence, which means he served no actual time, provided he didn't commit another offense, and a substantial fine.
The initial figure was reduced and settled at $16.8 million.
And that closed the matter legally in Spain.
Regarding the sexual assault allegations, the sources detailed two separate incidents spanning his career, starting with an allegation in 2005.
The 2005 rape allegation in London was investigated by the British Crown Prosecution Service. However, the two women involved later withdrew the allegation.
So Scotland Yard concluded there was insufficient evidence for prosecution at the time, leading to no charges being filed.
Correct. The later case involved an allegation from a woman concerning an incident in Las Vegas in 2009. We know from documents that a non-disclosure settlement was initially involved.
That's right. Documents later confirmed that Ronaldo paid the woman $375,000 in a non-disclosure settlement in 2010.
But the case was re-examined several years later, resulting in an official investigation.
And what was the result of the official criminal investigation into that 2009 incident?
Las Vegas prosecutors stated in July 2019 that they would not charge Ronaldo. They concluded, based on their review, that the allegations cannot be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
However, the related civil lawsuit continued until 2022.
It did.
And that civil lawsuit was ultimately dismissed, but on specific technical grounds related to the plaintiff's attorney, not necessarily the facts of the case itself. This is a complex distinction we need to be clear about.
This is a crucial detail for understanding the legal closure. The U.S. District Judge dismissed the civil lawsuit with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled in June 2022.
And the dismissal was not based on finding Ronaldo innocent or guilty of the original allegation?
No. Instead, it was based entirely on the plaintiff's lawyer's ethical misconduct. Specifically, the lawyer had repeatedly used cyber-hacked attorney-client privileged documents during the litigation process.
A clear abuse of the process.
Exactly. The court ruled that this constituted a flagrant circumvention of the proper litigation process. The judge determined that the lawyer's unethical conduct poisoned the entire case, justifying the dismissal regardless of the underlying claim.
And the court also specifically noted that no evidence was found that Ronaldo's legal team had intimidated the woman during the 2010 settlement negotiation.
That's right.
Finally, we must look at the recent intersection of his global fame and politics, specifically the November 2025 meeting with Donald Trump.
In November 2025, Ronaldo publicly expressed a desire to meet with Donald Trump, stating an interest in discussing world peace and noting, "I think it can make things happen, and I like people like that."
Later that month, he, his fiancée, and other global business leaders, including the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and FIFA President Gianni Infantino, met Trump at the White House.
And the sources note an interesting simultaneous development in his professional life immediately following that high-profile meeting.
That's right. Just 1 week after that White House meeting, FIFA issued Ronaldo a reprieve.
They eliminated a 2 out of 3 match ban he had received for an on-field incident in a World Cup qualifier against Ireland.
So we simply state the facts. The meeting occurred, and the ban was reprieved shortly thereafter, ensuring his availability for Portugal's upcoming crucial World Cup matches.
Exactly.
We have truly covered the entire remarkable distance of this career today. We traced the entire arc of Cristiano Ronaldo's life.
From his humble, challenging beginnings in a small parish in Madeira, overcoming poverty and a serious heart condition,
To his systematic, record-breaking dominance across Europe's top leagues, and culminating in his pioneering final move that ignited a revolution in the Saudi Pro League.
his career is truly a textbook study in a relentless dedication, calculated physical and tactical evolution, and just, statistical perfection.
And we cannot forget that his defining characteristic, even as he nears the end of his career, remains that insatiable hunger and competitive drive.
He confirmed his retirement timeline is within the next 2 years, but he is still actively chasing that unprecedented 1,000 career goal milestone.
That pursuit underscores his commitment to leaving a numerically irrefutable legacy of greatness that will define the sport for generations.
It does.
Which leaves us with this provocative final thought for you to mull over. Given Ronaldo's explicit focus on his legacy, his constant physical adaptation over time, from explosive winger to lethal poacher, and his recent success in 4 different leagues.
How will future generations of elite athletes quantify success? Will it be judged primarily by raw, record-breaking goal totals and individual awards like the Ballon d'Or?
Or will an equal measure of success be attributed to the capacity of an individual athlete to inspire cultural and economic revolutions and alter the balance of power in non-traditional football markets, as we are seeing now in the Saudi Pro League?
A fascinating standard for the future of global sport to consider. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the comprehensive CR7 phenomenon.
We hope you walk away feeling thoroughly informed. We'll see you next time.